Prop Ever enters the room by saying COVID only affects the weak-minded.
True. I was once like you.
I can't even fight you after losing 14 college bets in a row yesterday. I can't
You
even
lost
fight
14
you.
in a row?
Yep.
Oh my God, I didn't even know that happened.
After that, I won the first 12.
Yeah, he had a good start to the day. I did the results, and I was like, oh, he's doing good. And then
Wow.
Just-
I hate that.
It's literally impossible to put out a VIP ticket and win with the lines, with the way they move. If you don't put them out overnight, they're like, for instance, I when you posted this morning in Discord how CLV for half a point, I was thinking in my head, man, that must be fucking nice. Because every one of my lines moves 3 points within an hour.
Yeah. Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Hope you're all enjoying your weekend more than I am. Day 5, and I mean, I guess I'm a little better, but I am still sinused up, man. So we got 12 games to go through. Let's get it started.
Welcome to the source. The source. Source. Hey, get the source.
All right. First up, Texans at Jets. And before, I was chatting with people in the chat before the show started, and people were asking about the weather for this game. And I was like, you know what, guys? I'm looking out the window, and it's not that bad. And like right after I texted that, it's raining pretty hard now, at least where I'm at. And I'm about 30 miles from MetLife. So it looks like the weather's pretty shitty here. It's supposed to be shitty all day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look, I was going to say, it doesn't really change anything.
So that and the combination of Zach Wilson taking over a quarterback for Boyle is the reason for the significant line drop. Hold on, let me bring the correct. Looks like I didn't bring the correct pie charts in here. 1 second.
What's funny too is that it doesn't usually say this. Mine says definite rain 99%.
yeah.
Everything I've read on the game is supposed to be like horrendous. High wind gusts, steady showers. Even when it's not showering, it's supposed to be raining still. Like pretty bad. Also, there's a flood warning, so just like horrendous conditions for today's football game.
So not just bad weather, natural disaster. Okay.
Yeah, so just a horrendous game here we have ahead of us.
Why don't I have the right pie charts here? Did I put them in? Oh, hold on. I put them in the wrong folder. 1 second.
I was gonna say, I mean, I definitely put them in the thing.
That's a 50-50 chance right there.
You better watch your mouth, Toast, okay? I'm not in the friggin' mood these days.
There we go.
I'm cleaning
Pie
this
charts
up,
are right.
I'm sorry.
All right. So let's get started. Prop Ever, what are you doing here?
Well, unfortunately, I mean, Toast mentioned CLV. I must have dropped these bets at the perfect time because the line has moved. I had Stroud under 31.5 pass attempts. It's now at 29.5. And I had Stroud over 9.5 rush yards. I'll still talk about the rush yards, though, because I like that. As we just talked about, the weather is projected to be absolutely horrendous today. Opponents 9-1 to their pass attempts under in the Jets' last 10 games. Just 2 of those QBs have reached 32+. And the Jets run a slow pace in neutral game scripts. The Jets pass the arguably best in the NFL at home. It's going to lead to a closer game and more rush attempts for Houston. When Stroud does drop back, he faces the best secondary he's going to be seeing all year, and he's going to be seeing them without 2 of his favorite weapons, Dalton Schultz and Tank Dell. The New York Jets have been excellent at clamping first read wide receivers, so he's going to have a hard time getting it to Nico Collins. And the Jets also sit 6th in pressure percentage and adjusted sack percentage. This has led to the Jets allowing the 3rd most rush attempts per game and 7th most rush yards per game to opposing quarterbacks. Stroud, his last 2 games, has been using those legs a lot more. 6 rush attempts in each of those games. And with just 3 rush attempts against the Jets this season, QBs are 10-1 to the over, averaging 26 rush yards per game. With 3+ rush attempts for Stroud this season, he's 5-2 to the over, averaging 15.9 yards per game. I think Dameon Pierce is absolutely horrendous. So in terms of a side, it's hard to lay the points with Texans when in my mind, Dameon Pierce is like averaging 1.8 yards per carry, and they're going to give him the bulk of the carries. I would be much more confident in Houston if he was out, and I could just bet on Devin Singletary, who's a significantly better running back to get the ball. But for some reason, they decided to go back to Pierce last week. Makes no sense to me. I have no bet on a side in this game. Those are my 2 plays.
Andy?
Yeah, I'm with him. It's tough to pick a side in this one because for some reason this is one of the most even games to me. Like the Houston, one of the best things they do, they pass the ball really well. Well, the Jets have a great pass defense. Houston, they stop the run really well. Well, that's the only thing the Jets can really do on offense. They have no quarterback right now. Zach Wilson doesn't give me any. Like, I don't expect him to come back in and be great all of a sudden. Like, it's tough to pick a side, so I really just took the under. And especially with the weather being the way that it is, I expect it to be really bad, like probably 10-7 type bad, like a really low-scoring game. So, yeah, I really don't have a side in this one.
All right, for me, so this is, I didn't actually bet this one yet. Probably won't. But I would lean towards, whoa, what the hell? 1 second. God damn. 1 sec. So
adding to you.
I know, dude. This sucks. So put this in here. There we go.
Well, you were telling me on the phone last night the Jets are a mega hammer lock, right?
No, not at all.
I think he said hammerhead lock, yeah.
Yeah, it was something along those lines.
Why the hell?
Well, I thought I was getting the Jets at 5.5, not 3.
It was 6.5.
Once the weather reports came in, it just kept dropping and dropping and dropping. I mean, they have Stroud's pass yard total.
Okay, I think I got it. I think we're good. All right, so sorry about that. So this is the way I would lean. Houston -3. There are so many angles here for the Jets. The weather, opposing quarterbacks have really struggled to come into MetLife and throw the ball, and some good quarterbacks too. Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, like a lot of guys have gone on the road to MetLife and could not throw the ball. So it makes complete sense why all the pros, all the sharps would be on the Jets here. But the thing is, and then combine that with the weather. But the thing is, this number has been bet down so insanely much. Like, it's down to 3 even. And, yeah, the weather's bad, but they're still playing a football game, and one team is still significantly better than the other. Like I said, I'm probably not even betting this, so I don't even want to talk too much about it. There's some injury problems on Houston, by the way. Tank Dell is out. Dalton Schultz is out. 2 offensive linemen missing. So, probably won't pull the trigger on this one. But if you got in early and took Jets at 6.5, you're probably holding some value. But right now, where it's at 3, it's probably a pass for me. Toast?
Yeah, there's no way I'd bet the Jets are the Texans here. I'm not gonna bet not the Jets, but I'm not gonna bet the Jets personally. But I find it really hard to bet the Texans with it seems like everybody in the world's betting the Texans here. One thing that I did play was Dameon Pierce over 10.5 rush attempts. It's at -120 on BetMGM. They pretty much set it all for me. Everything that the Jets defense does is pretty good as far as comparing it to that Houston offense. So I figured Pierce with the rain is going to get plenty of work today. I don't want to worry about how many yards he has against that defense, but I do think he touches the ball at least 11 times.
So Dameon Pierce over 11 rushing attempts.
10.5, but yeah.
Over 10.5 rushing attempts. Got it. All right, so our poll's all over Houston. And, yeah, this is going to be a serious pros versus public game. The public's going to be all over Houston at this short number, and pros are going to be all over the Jets. I was talking to my friend last night who listens to a lot of sports betting podcasts, and he takes in a lot of content. He was saying, I haven't seen one person on the Texans, like every single pro or sharp or person who does this for a living is on the Jets, which makes sense in the situation. But I think what we're seeing is the result of that. Where the number's been bet down to a point where I think the value might have shifted back towards the other side. But like I said, not betting it. We're probably wasted too much time talking about this game already. 64% of our viewers are taking Houston, just 18% taking the Jets. Next, Tampa Bay on the road at Hotlanta. Can I get a is it still at 2, Rob Beaver?
Line is all over the place. 1.5 consensus mainly, but you could still get a 2.5 on FanDuel and a 2 on ESPN.
All right. Consensus total 41.
Consensus total is 41. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Property Room.
Yeah, so for this one, I went with Drake London over receiving yards. I played at 46.5, but personally, I still love this at 49.5. I think it's the perfect buy low spot. He grabbed 1 reception for 8 yards at New York last week against those Jets, the best defense against wide receivers by a country mile. And now he has the complete polar opposite in terms of a matchup. Tampa Bay has been horrendous against wide receivers all year long, allowing the 3rd most yards per game and 5th most yards per reception. Against wide receiver 1 specifically, they're allowing the 7th most yards per game. And London at home with Ritter has been a moneymaker. They've cashed 6 to 7 games together, averaging 75.4 yards per game. If you were to take out the one outlier against Carolina, where he saw 0 receptions, I mean, that average is well above well above 85 yards per game. He saw these Tampa Bay Bucks at home last year and put up 120 yards on 6 receptions. And even at Tampa earlier this season, where he's much worse with Ritter, still managed 54 yards on 6 receptions. According to FTN Fantasy, Tampa runs the 8th highest percentage of zone in the league. And if you look at London's last 4 home games against zone, 15.7 yards per reception, 2.9.2 yards per route run, absolutely torching them. Jamel Dean still out for the Tampa secondary. I think this is the perfect bounce back spot. If I wasn't ice cold right now, I would have laddered this bitch up. I think he could get 100 plus today. So, I
so
like
you're
it.
playing scared.
I'm with you, Beaver.
Dude,
I'm with you, Beaver.
If you went through what I've went through, yeah, you would be.
Beaver, we're going down together then because I'm with you. I'm on Drake London too. I know that the Bucs secondary allows the 2nd most yards to opposing wide receivers. Jonathan Mingo had almost 70 last week. If this dude doesn't push
he's a
80
trash
out,
can.
we're gonna have a freaking heart attack.
Exactly.
So 2 picks on Drake London's over. Let's go over to Andy. So Prop Beaver's betting scared, but he calls me mentally soft for getting COVID. That's where we're at right
Listen.
now.
Oh my goodness.
It's a double standard.
All right, Andy, what do you got?
Yeah, it's like they said, it is very easy to throw on this Atlanta team. At least it's I'm sorry, on Tampa Bay, my bad. And that's the one thing you have to do because you're not gonna be able to run on them. I mean, nobody's really been able to run on Tampa Bay this year. But if you can throw, you'll be successful. And Ritter at home, kind of the only way I'd ever trust that guy is he's at home. Seems like a perfect spot for him. So I'm siding with Atlanta, something I've been trying not to do because I did it so much early, but it's kind of tough. This is a good spot for them, so I like Atlanta.
Didn't you go on a rant like 3 weeks ago about how you're done betting the Falcons?
Dude,
Yeah.
I did, but this is just the only, this is the perfect spot. Ritter at home against a team he can throw on.
Well, disagree. I'm on the other side. Give me Tampa Bay all the way here. I got it at 2. So, look, we have questions about the Bucs defense against the pass, and I'll talk about that in a second. But when we talk about the other side of the ball, this Falcons defense is fraudulent. I'm telling you, they have good-looking numbers on the year because they started off the season hot. But these last few games, I'm giving them 0 credit for shutting down the Jets with Tim Boyle. So if you're looking like, hey, what about the Jets? They held them to 8 points. Just stop. I'm not giving him any points for that. Before that, yeah, they beat the Saints. Saints had 444 yards of offense in that game. The defense did not beat the Saints. The Saints beat the Saints. The Saints had no problem moving the ball in this Falcons defense in that game. Before that, and by the way, in that game, Saints have been struggling to run the ball for most of this year. They ran the ball all over the Falcons. All over them. Want to know who ran all over the Falcons the week before that? Arizona ran all over the Falcons and beat them. The Cardinals. And by the way, the Bucs, not really known as a team that can run the ball, but recently, Bucs have been running it. Rashad White is getting it going. Their last road game 2 weeks ago on the road in Indy against the Colts, they averaged 6.6 yards per carry as a team. Rashad White's been good. I think the run game's going to be there for the Bucs. If I was a prop guy, I'd be looking at Rashad White's over here. I think the run game's going to be there for Tampa, and Falcons have no pass rush. They do have a good secondary. They're good in coverage, but Baker Mayfield with run support and time to throw. Now, Baker Mayfield hasn't been great from a clean pocket, or at least he wasn't to start the season. But there's just too many positive points there for the Bucs offense. I think the Bucs are going to score 25 plus in this game. Now, on the other side of the ball, I'm with you guys. I don't trust Tampa Bay's secondary at all, but I trust that run defense. And if you're saying, hey, if I expect the Bucs to score, let's say 25 points, let's just put a number on it, 25, and I'm like, hey, do I think Desmond Ridder, can we count it on to score 27, 28 and cover this number? The answer is no. The answer is no. So I'm on the Bucs. A good friend of mine who I trust really likes the over in this game. which I would agree with. I would lean that way as well. But personally, I'm on Tampa Bay, and I like it. Give me the Bucks.
I saw something that supports your theory about the Bucks being able to run it. Kamish, he tweeted some notes he had for each game that he put in his Discord. And Nate Landman is out for this game, one of the Falcons' 2 linebackers. He's been massive in terms of their success on the field in terms of stopping the run.
I didn't see that.
I don't know. Yeah, he just tweeted it, and apparently it was like a massive difference in yards per carry allowed. So with Landman off the field, I mean, that's a nice play. Rashad White has been picking it up. I still don't trust him. I think he's horrendous as a runner, but he's getting like 20-plus rush attempts per game. So I think that's a solid angle you got with the over there. I'm not going to do it.
Oh, Jeff Okudah might not play for the Falcons.
Do you know, what about AJ Terrell? Is he in or out?
Terrell's playing.
He's in.
Okay.
But yeah, Rob Beaver's right. Landman's not playing, and their nose tackle's out. So Falcons run defense just dealing with some shit right now. Yeah, but I'm on Tampa Bay. Our poll settled on the Bucks. Also, it looks like 42% of our viewers said they would take the 1.5 with Tampa Bay. 38% said they would take the Falcons. So that's pretty split. Toast the Bucks won that poll. If you want to keep note of that. But the fact that I said it out loud means I'll remember it.
I'm also on the Bucks. Just for
okay. So
the only reason I said that is because the Bucks fit a trend that my buddy Degenerate put me on. Teams coming off a divisional home game in which they did not cover are like 17-7 and 2 ATS. The Bucks are fitting that trend, so I'm playing the Bucks, and I'm also playing Baker Mayfield over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus 140. So
wow, Toast has got all kinds of bets in this game.
I like this game. What can I say?
I like the over in this game.
Killed in college basketball. I got to do something. I got to change it up a little bit. I stayed up all night last night.
All right, let's move on to Lions Bears, and I'm really curious to see how these guys feel about this one because I went back and forth. I'm pretty sure, and I don't want to speak for him, but judging by what Prop Beaver said on the phone last night, I'm pretty sure he's leaning Bears. Am I right on that?
Yeah, I think I am leaning the Bears. I think, one second, let me go ahead.
Hold on, actually, first, let me get a weather report from Toast in Chicago, because that's actually supposed to be a thing here.
36 and overcast, so it should be clear. It doesn't look like it might be a little bit cold, but it doesn't look like
so it's not as bad as originally anticipated. That was my thought as well.
I will say the winds are like 12 mile an hour to the northwest if you guys want to deal with that. But yeah,
So Prop Beaver, you Bears or you have a prop?
No, I don't have a prop for this game. If anything, I would lean Jahmyr Gibbs over, but the entire world's on it, and there's some weird line movement on that one, so I'm just staying away.
Is this like 3.5 now? It is.
It was at 3.5 when I made the graphic, but now apparently the consensus is back down to 3 because every book has it at 3 except ESPN, but they have it at like plus 100 for the Bears.
Okay. So.
I mean, either way, if I'm getting plus 100 for the Bears at plus 3, I'll play it. If I'm getting the hook at like minus 120, minus 115, I would play it. I do like the Bears in this one. The Detroit Lions defense is just having a mental breakdowns of sorts as of recent. I mean, yeah, they somewhat looked good against the Saints, but even then, the Saints were able to move the ball effectively at the end of that game. They were able to put some points on the board, despite having legitimately 0 weapons on the field, besides Chris Olave and Kamara, who's wildly inefficient on the ground. And then really what I like is the fact that the Bears have Justin Fields, who just tends to run all over this Lions team. He's had 100-plus rushing yards in each of his last 3 games against the
Lions.
Losses. Now, all losses, yes, all losses. But
just
now he has the game changer. Now he has the game changer, DJ Moore, in the mix. And the Lions' pass defense has been wildly bad lately, especially against wide receiver ones. We've recently seen Christian Watson rip them up for 94 yards. Chris Olave rip them up for 119. Keenan Allen have 175 against them. If the weather was a bit better, I'd definitely be on DJ Moore here because I think that Justin Fields, like if you look at his last few games that are fully healthy with DJ Moore in the field, he's been excellent. Last week was an outlier because the Vikings send the blitz at the highest rate in the league, and Luke Getsy's a weirdo. Every time he faces a blitz-heavy team, he likes to just have Justin Fields throw screens. I don't think that's going to be the case this week. I think they're going to be able to control the clock again. And while the Lions were able to run on the Bears in Detroit, that Bears rush defense, they want revenge this time around. They're going to be at home where they've been able to hold opponents more in check. And I think they're going to be able to at least cover the number here. They don't need to win the game, but they've been competitive with the Lions now. 3 games in a row. I think they cover at least that 3.5 at home.
Andy.
Yeah, a lot of what he said. The Saints were not the Saints. The Lions. That I thought the game against the Packers was just a blip in the radar. It was a nothing. But then they struggled in that game last week. They got off to such a great start, had a big lead, and then they nearly lost the game. Like that made me. I'm a little concerned for the Lions now. And like he said, divisional matchup on the road. I don't love this spot for the Lions at all, coming off of those types of games with a different type of quarterback. So I think Fields will be able to run on them and everything. So yeah, I really like Chicago in this spot at 3.5. The three, I mean, I don't think that half a point would make that big of a difference. I think Chicago could win the game outright in here. So
Also, great comment there. It says, fear the cold. Lions don't live in the cold. Well, I don't know if that's literally or he means in terms of football. Jared Goff outside on the road. When it comes December, the guy sucks.
Justin Fields sucks outside, inside, don't matter.
No, bro. He's going to crip walk down the field on that Lions rush.
He's going to crip walk down the field. Toast, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm on the Lions. I kind of, the weather was kind of throwing me, or I thought that the weather might throw me off a little bit. I was trying to look at the Lions team total at 24 because it seemed a little bit low. They just continued to go over that number, but yeah, I'm just going to take the Lions -3.5. I think I got it at 3 myself. I don't have 3.5. I got 3 myself on DK, but yeah, I'm on the Lions as well.
Yeah,
I can't really add to what Beaver and them said, but I don't really trust this Bears team, and I understand how bad that the Lions have looked on defense at times, but that doesn't make enough for me to change it and bet the Bears.
Yeah, Lions. Look, there's a ton of ankles for Chicago here, and they covered a lot of them. It's supposed to be a little bit windy. Jared Goff can't play outside. Bears almost beat these guys at home at Ford Field. Now they're at home in Chicago. Bears defense looks great, not just solid. Bears looking like they have a top 10 defense recently. All that makes sense. But we're still talking about Justin Fields in this Bears offense, and they just find a way. I mean, I took the Bears against the Vikings. What was that, Monday Night Football or Thursday night? I think it was a Monday night game.
Monday night.
And it was so clear that the Bears were the right side that entire game. Chicago's defense was excellent. They forced Josh Dobbs into 4 picks. They still almost fumbled that bag. They still almost lost that game. Josh Dobbs threw 4 picks. Before that, the Lions game, we're just talking about it. Chicago's defense plays excellent. Forced the Lions into 4 turnovers. They still lost. So you're telling me if the Bears defense comes out and plays excellent again, which is possible, they still might not cover. They still might not cover if the defense comes out and forces another 4 turnovers and has a game-changing performance. They still might not cover. We're still talking about the Bears offense. And Justin Fields, he's crazy talented, and I like Ohio State, so I'm rooting for the guy, but he just figures out a way, man. He figures out a way to lose, and I think they're starting to ring the urgency bell a bit in Detroit. They really need a get-right game. And look, I know Jared Goff has not played well outdoors, but you know what? Entering the season, it was Jared Goff, and when entering the season was Jared Goff can't play well on the road. By the way, I was one of the ones saying that, so I'm not pointing the finger at other people. I said that also. He's been pretty good on the road this year. Yeah, this one's outdoors. Jared Goff can't play outdoors until he can. You know, he can't play outdoors until he can. I think the Lions have the overall better team, and I got this at 3 as well. The graphic says 3.5, but you can get 3. Look, the Lions defense has been suspect, but not the run defense. Even in these last 3 games where the Lions have been questionable defensively, where we're all kind of questioning this Detroit team, right? The last 3 since Thanksgiving, they're only allowing 3.9 yards per carry in those 3 games. The run defense is fine. The Lions' run defense is fine. It's the secondary that's suspect, and then it comes down to Justin Fields. You think Justin Fields is the guy that's going to pick apart and hang a bunch of points on this Lions secondary? Maybe, but I don't see it. I'd rather be on the Lions here. I don't care if it's the square side. Give me Detroit.
Hypothermia golf is ass. Just wait.
Hypothermia. It's supposed to be 38. Toast.
Last 2 road
hypothermia.
At
Hoodie
LA
weather.
And at New Orleans, both in a dome. Wait till you get him outside. He's gonna freeze up.
Yeah. About halfway through the second quarter, you're gonna be like, "What have I done?"
I look forward to Justin Fields crip walking later. That's gonna be
what the hell?
I'm looking forward to that.
It's gonna be dope.
57.
Get your cameras out.
57% of our viewers said they would lay the 3 with the Lions. 32% said they would take the 3 with the Bears. Next, Jags at Browns. This game sucks, man. Let's run the
39 with slight chance of showers. Definitely some wind in Cleveland.
Yeah, I heard
today.
the weather's supposed to be shitty here. What's the line here now? Because it looks like Trevor Lawrence is going to play.
+1.5 and 37.5.
It's Cleveland still favored, right?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Polls running. Prop Beaver, what are you doing here?
Yeah, so went back to my favorite. I'm going back to my tackle props here. I went with Foyosade Olokun. I went with over 10.5 tackles plus assists. I got a 9.5 yesterday, but I still like it at 10.5. Rarely goes over 9.5 without hitting over 10.5. Cleveland's been an all-you-can-tackle buffet over their last 7 games. An off-ball linebacker has hit in 6 of those games, while 7 off-ball linebackers total have hit 10+ during that span, averaging 13.5. We've seen similar guys in terms of tackle numbers, like Ernest Jones with 15, Alanda Roberts 15, Roquan Smith 21, Bobby Wagner 13, Zaire Franklin 11. So lots of guys similar to Foyosade in terms of the amount of combined tackles per game hitting this line against the Browns, and here's why. Cleveland tied for the lead in the league in rush attempts per game at 32, also leads the NFL in plays per game at 71.7. As a result, they allow the most tackles plus assists both overall and to linebackers. Aloakon is 8-4 to the over this season, averaging 10.9, and 4-1 on the road this season, averaging 11. In his last 10 road games against opponents with a 40+ rush frequency, he's 8-2 to the over, averaging 12.3 tackles plus assists per game. Cleveland runs the ball at a 45% rate. Add in the fact that the Browns defense is significantly better at home, and I think they're going to be able to keep the time of possession battle balanced no matter who is at quarterback for Cleveland. It is Joe Flacco. Looked fine last week. I've been puffing my chest down saying this Jaguars defense ain't shit, especially the pass defense. So I think that Joe Flacco could actually move the ball on them. And yeah, I mean, the fact that the books still have the Browns as favorites here kind of tell me that the defense for the Browns are going to show up here and be able to keep this game competitive. So I think Aloha Contra have plenty of opportunities to hit this over here. Yo, Bozo, you're muted.
All right, let me repeat that. So I grabbed the Jags at +3 last night when I saw that Trevor Lawrence was likely to play. I don't think I would take it at +1.5. I don't even know how much I like it at +3. I grabbed it because I saw all the other sports books had dropped it to 2.5, and Caesars still had the +3 up. So I was like, hey, I'll grab this last +3 because they're all going to drop. And I was right. About 10 minutes after that, Caesars dropped it down to 2.5 as well. And now, as you know, it's down to 1.5. So I guess I'm holding some good closing line value, but I don't even like it enough to put the graphic under my face here. I think this is a nice spot for the Browns, and the bad weather certainly helps. If I'm Jacksonville, I don't even know why I'm forcing Trevor Lawrence on the field, to be honest, on a short week. They just played on Monday night. Short week, bad weather against this Cleveland pass rush. Seems like a really good spot to give your guy the week off to rest. I'm not an NFL head coach. I'm not an NFL front office. I'm not going to tell them how to do their jobs. But if I'm the Jags, I'm considering giving Trevor Lawrence the week off. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's fine. Maybe he's completely fine and the injury was blown out of proportion. It seems like a really good spot in the bad weather against Myles Garrett and that Browns pass rush. Seems like a really good spot to just say, like, hey, Trevor, sit this one out. The fact that he's playing is a little weird, but yeah, so I guess at 1.5, I guess maybe Cleveland money. I don't know. I don't even want to say anything. I don't like the game. Andy?
Yeah, you said it. Their pass rush and their pass defense is so good, and the one way you beat them is you run the ball. Well, Jacksonville can't run the ball. They're one of the worst rushing teams in the league. Cleveland's been bad in the rush defense game the last few weeks, but those games were on the road. Now you're at home. Jacksonville not being able to run it. I don't think they'll be able to do anything passing. I don't think you come off an ankle injury that looked that bad on Monday. I don't think you come back on Sunday and look anywhere near the way you do. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I'm siding with Cleveland just because of that. I don't think they will be able to do anything offensively. And look, betting on Joe Flacco might not look like a good thing, but he didn't look that bad. Like, he looked like he could still throw the ball a little bit and get enough done. If Amari Cooper is not going to play, that does give me a little angst there, because then they don't really have a number one receiver. But yeah, I'm going to side Cleveland here.
You don't want to fade a goat like Flacco coming off.
You can't. You simply can't.
Yeah.
Toast, are you? You know what? I'm gonna put Jags plus 1.5, and I'm down to put it in front of me, because I am holding a Jags plus 3 ticket. So it's not like I am invested on this side somewhat. I just don't know if I played at 1.5. Toast.
Yeah, I tailed your Jags plus 3 because that was like when Gonzaga was up by 8. I was winning money. Life was good at that point. So I did tail that Jags plus 3. That was sweet that I still have that in my pocket. I did bet this morning Elijah Moore over 39.5 receiving yards at minus 115 on, what was that? Bet MGM. What's his face just said Cooper might be out this week with the concussion. He did practice yesterday. I expect him to play, but Elijah Moore playing with his old teammate Joe Flacco. He had a pretty good, decent week last week with 83 yards on 12 targets. So the weather sucks, but that was the only thing I could really find in this game that I really liked.
Yeah, Elijah Moore, I like that too, because Flacco seemed to like him, and there was some throws. There was one throw in particular where Flacco like anticipated he was going to stop, and he started throwing the ball while he was still running the route, and it was like perfect. Like shit you used to see from like Kurt Warner and Isaac Bruce, just like perfect timing. This is like, how is this guy's first start? And him and Elijah Moore already on the exact same page. It was pretty impressive. And as Prop Ever said, and he was spot on, the Jags defense is falling apart, especially against the pass. So, I mean, if the weather's all right, I mean, who knows? Who knows with the stupid ass weather?
I actually like that too, Toast. I'm content with what I have for today, but that would be a nice add.
Elijah Moore would be like my touchdown scorer pick for this game.
Oh my God.
I mean, let's not forget that Elijah Moore had a 33% reception rate last week, but the 12 targets, man.
12 targets.
If you're gonna feed me 12 times,
Yeah,
I'll take my chances.
Got to play to win. 45% of our viewers said they would lay the 1.5 with Cleveland. 41% said they would take the 1.5 with Jacksonville. 9% under. A lot of people betting the under in that one. Next, Colts.
Cleveland won, you said though, right?
What's up? Yeah, Cleveland won. Cleveland won. All right, we're at Colts at Bengals. This line's now at 2.5.
At 3, actually.
It's at 3 now.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
3 and 44.5.
Colts plus 3, Bengals minus 3. Oh, is it 44.5 across the board?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead, Prop Beaver.
Yeah, I feel like I have to take the Colts at the even 3. Like Jake Browning, he's the boy. I'm pumped that he cashed for a Bengals ticket last week. I'm pumped that he cashed my rushing prop over last week. But let's hold the phone here. Was just talking about this Jaguars defense. Booty McCheeks. And what I like about this Colts game is the fact that I think that they're going to be able to run the ball all over the Bengals. I think the Bengals rush D looked a little good last week against ETN and that 28th ranked rush success rate from that O-line. Colts offensive line has been great this season. They've been looking better each game. Last week was tough because Zach Moss had to go into Tennessee after he ran all over them earlier this season. Obviously, they were aiming to shut him down, and the Colts still won that ball game against a division rival. I just think that Shane Steichen has these boys rolling right now. The offense with Gardner Minshew, surprisingly, really successful. I think that he's going to be able to get Josh Downs in the mix this week as well. I don't really have much faith in the Bengals' rush defense, but I also don't really love their pass defense as well. Just not really a big fan of this Bengals team. And I feel like we're getting them overvalued as hell because everybody in primetime saw that Jake Browning looked like a god out there. Well, that Colts pass rush has been rolling lately. I think they're going to be able to create pressure on Browning, force him to make a few mistakes. So if Gardner Minshew makes a mistake, we're fine here. I just think catching 3 full points. How do you not take that? There's also the trend where if a team starts out as a dog and becomes a favorite, they're horrendous against the spread. Toast has said it 55 million times. So I like the Colts at the plus 3.
Yeah. Now that it's at 3, I might have to dip my toe in as well. My original bet, and I stand by this, is the over at 44. So This is a fade of the Bengals' run defense. It's one of the worst in the NFL, 29th in DVOA, 23rd on Pro Football Focus. Colts have been struggling to get the game going recently, and I know Jonathan Taylor's out. But remember, this is a really dominant rushing attack with Zach Moss earlier in the year. And if you look at their schedule, look at their last 4 games. At Tennessee, the Titans at home is great against the run. The Bucs, excellent run defense. The Patriots, probably the best run defense in the NFL. And at Carolina, another team that plays really good defense at home. They've had really 4 tough spots to run the ball in a row. This is the first time we get to see the Colts stretch their legs with this run game in over a month. Cincinnati's defense is terrible against the run. Not that they're great against the pass either. I don't really trust Minshew on the road, though, so I'm really putting my eggs in the Colts running the ball basket. But I also see Minshew contributing to this over with an interception, maybe. And look, on the other side, Colts pass defense is just so shaky with those 2 corners out. I believe Dallas Flowers and Juju Brents are both still out. It's a number 1 and number 2 corner. Well, Kenny Moore's probably their main guy, but he mostly plays in the slot. So technically, these would be the 2 guys on the edge. There's going to be opportunities for Browning to make plays. And look, this is going to be insane because you're going to be like, how is this possible? Jake Browning and the Bengals receivers, pretty much going to be the toughest test for this Colts pass defense in the last 4 or 5 games. And you're wondering, how is that possible? They played Levis, Mayfield, well, actually Mayfield and them probably, but the Patriots and Bryce Young. So the second Browning and the Bengals passing attack is the second toughest test for the Colts over the last month. And by the way, this Colts defense, similar to the Jags defense in a sense where they run a lot of zone coverage, and the pass rush is getting better. Like Prof Weaver said, it's not terrible, but it's not elite. I think Browning's going to have another, not as good a game as we saw last week, but I think he's going to have another good game. So I'm going over here. And now that it's at 3, I would play the Colts as well. So I probably...
I'm going to hop in here.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Sauce. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to hop in because I had the same type of thing. So I'm on Jake Browning over 228 passing yards. Sauce talked about it. Jaguars defense runs the 4th highest zone rate. Now he faces a Colts team that leads the NFL at a zone coverage at 84%. So I'll take Browning over his total yards. And then also Colts. I always talk about the Raiders and their team total. Well, here, I'll get you guys in a little something. Colts 10-2 to their team total over this year. So give me Colts team total over 20.5 as well. Colts are one of only 3 teams in the NFL to hit their team total 9+ times this year. That offense is always humming. I don't have no problem with Gardner Minshew.
The Colts just run like a college style offense. Now in college football, the pace of play is notable. You talk about it a lot. You check that. You kind of ignore it in the NFL because they all kind of run a similar pace. Not the Colts. They're only running 19, 20 seconds in between snaps. Like, they're the fastest team in the NFL. They are an over team, and I think this Bengals team is going to be an over team moving forward too. Fast pace here. Andrew, what about you?
Yeah, I'm with Prop Beaver here. He said it perfectly. Pump the brakes. I think we're valuing Jake Browning at a very high rate for a one. Like he was okay against the Steelers late in the game, but like he was pretty bad for most of that game. They had that game lost pretty easily. And then last week against a bad pass defense, he had a good game, right? But like I'm not gonna go and completely back him because of that against a team that Indianapolis that just finds ways to win games. They have obviously a good rush offense, but Gardner Minshew's been doing a good job of just getting them down the field, doing just enough to win games. That win last week was actually very impressive on the road in Tennessee. I did not think they were going to win that game. So, yeah, I like this Indianapolis team right now.
All right. Our poll is, leaning Colts. 50% of our viewers said they would take the 3 with the Colts. 33% said they would lay the 3 with Cincinnati. So, Colts wins the poll. 12% over. So, a lot of people agree with me on the over. Next, Rams-Ravens. Let's clear the board here. Rams-Ravens. I switched sides on this one. My first glance on this one was Ravens. I'm on the Rams now, but we'll get to it. Is it the lines? Weather in Baltimore.
Weather in Baltimore. Nothing crazy to report. Never mind. Sorry, it changed. That's the wrong game. 59 and slight chance of rain. It says there's thunderstorms, but the chance of rain is slight. So I don't really know how to read that.
Okay.
I heard that it was not great weather.
Yeah, I heard it was bad weather, but I heard
it's an
this
orange
yesterday.
on the Kevin Rothometer.
Oh, on the Kevin Rothometer, it's an orange.
Yeah. You know how accurate that is.
7.5 still, right, Prop Beaver?
Yep, at 7.5, and the total's at 42.
42? It's at 39
I know,
and a half
right?
this morning. That must have been the weather change. Maybe the weather's looking better and the total shot up.
Oh, okay.
It was
Well, that'd
39
be
and a
better for
half
us.
this morning.
Some detectives. Ooh.
Because just a bunch of sleuths out here. All right, Prop Beaver, you have the floor. What are you taking? The nose tackle over 1.5 tackle attempts?
I was thinking about Ledbetter. If the Cardinals had traded him to the Rams, I would have taken him. That didn't go through. You know what? I think I had the same thing happen that you did, I'm pretty sure, because I was on the Ravens yesterday, and then like something snipped in my mind. I'm like, I don't know. I think I kind of like the Rams here, so I'm gonna take the Rams. What really kind of set me off with this is the fact that Lamar Jackson in his first game without Mark Andrews this season looked awful. 18 of 32, just 177 yards, a 56.3 completion percentage, his lowest of the season, just 5.5 yards per attempt. And that was against the Chargers, for Christ's sakes. The Chargers.
Bro, the Ravens' run defense is suspect.
And that's what I was going to get to. The Ravens' rush defense lately has really
What's
not
going
been
on?
looking good.
28th in the NFL in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I saw a stat like that too. I mean, the Chargers ran for 4.5 yards per carry on them. Cincy, who's horrendous, 5.9 yards per carry. Cleveland, who's like bottom 10 of rush DVOA, 4.9 yards per carry. So teams are being able to run it on the Ravens right now. And I mean, you can say what you want about Kyron Williams. This Rams team performs a hell of a lot better when he's in that lineup, and he's been quite goddamn good this season. They just look like a completely different offense. And I think he's going to be the secret weapon here. I think they're just going to pound it down the Ravens' throats, and they're going to be able to at least keep this game competitive here, because if Lamar's going to play how he did against that Chargers team, I mean, my Christ. And in fact, I mean, even that the other home game against Cleveland, he looked pretty terrible on that. The one thing that I wanted to say, I guess I'm kind of blanking on right now. You know, the rest. I think almost too much rest is not a good thing. This team has played one football game in the past 24 days, I believe. I feel like they almost have to come out a bit rusty. The Rams catching some momentum right now. They beat the Seahawks. They beat the living pulp out of the Cardinals. And they're going to be entering this game with, obviously, like I just said, some serious momentum. Actually, they won 3 straight because they beat Cleveland too. They beat the shit out of Cleveland. So I don't know. I just think that this is too many points. I've been on the lay the points with the Ravens at home bandwagon most of this year. You guys know that. I said against the Seahawks. I said against the Lions. I think the Rams are the side here, though.
Agreed. And you took a lot of the points I was going to say, but you left out one big one. We've seen one game of this Baltimore Ravens offense without Mark Andrews. They scored 20 points against the Chargers. I don't know if I trust the Ravens offense without Mark Andrews. They're going to need to score more than 20 to cover this number in this one. The Rams defense has been surprisingly good. My main reasoning was I like the Rams to run the ball against a Ravens run defense that out of nowhere for the last 3 weeks looks really suspect. Teams are running the ball on the Ravens. Last three games, not last 3 weeks. So I think the Ravens do have an elite pass defense, but if you're going to give Matt Stafford run support against man coverage, Matt Stafford's one of those guys where you can have perfect coverage. In man coverage, you can have perfect coverage, and he'll still sneak it in there. He's very accurate, as you know. Pass rush obviously could be a problem for him, but if the run game should help with that as well. And then we're talking about 7.5-point spread with the offense that I don't know if I trust right now. With no Mark Andrews, I don't think I could do it. So I'm on the Rams at plus 7.5. Kyron Williams over. Kyron Williams overs would be my lean for a prop. Andy?
Yeah, I don't really love a side in this one. I would probably go with the Rams if I had a side, but I like the over in this one. I think you were right. The Ravens defense is very, very suspect when it comes to the run. And Matthew Stafford's looked good lately. Like, I was kind of writing him off. He's looked solid. So now you give him run support, like you said, that's perfect. But also, like, I don't question the Ravens offense at all. Yes, without Mark Andrews, it wasn't great, but they're going to still be able to run the ball. Like, it doesn't matter. They're going to be able to run the ball against anybody, especially at home. it does not matter. So I expect a lot of points in this game. I expect a lot of possessions in this game too. Like you said, pace of play. I think both teams are going to move pretty quickly in this one. So yeah, I like the over.
Toast?
Yeah, I'm on the Rams as well. Don't really love it, but it takes a lot for me to get away from my Ravens first quarter bets. 9-1-2 on the year, but I just look without Mark Andrews, I don't really love it. And then on top of the thing, I found this really weird about the Ravens. They're really, really good getting essentially for the first 3 quarters. This year, 8-3 entering the fourth quarter when they have a lead, but are entering the fourth quarter they have a lead. So a lot of the times they're winning coming to the fourth quarter. But did you know over the last 2 seasons, Baltimore has 8 double-digit leads that they have lost? That's most in the NFL with Chicago. They just blow a lot of leads late. So I just think this is has backdoor Rams cover written all over it. So I'm taking the points with the Rams.
Yeah, they're getting the reputation for that. I know it got me in that Cardinals game. I laid the points with the Ravens, and they had a backdoor cover, and that's happened a few times to Baltimore over the last year or two. All right, so our poll's pretty split, leaning Baltimore. Baltimore wins the poll. 42% of our viewers are laying the 7.5 with the Ravens. 38% taking the 7.5 with the Rams. Next. All right, we got Panthers at Saints. All right. Is this still 6.5? Where we at, Prop Beaver? It was 6.5.
5.5.
Ooh, it dropped to 5.5. Okay. Mm-hmm. And consensus total 39.
Consensus total, yep, 39.
All right, what are you doing in this?
I went with Jamal Williams over 5.5 rush attempts and moved up to 6.5 though. I'm still fine playing it there. Let me go into why I like that. Main reason obviously being no Taysom Hill in the lineup. And that's massive because that leaves Jamal Williams and Kamara as the only 2 healthy running backs on the roster. Hill was averaging 6.7 attempts per game over the last 6 weeks, and Williams is averaging 4.2 attempts per game with Kamara so far. So I think at least 2 of those go to Williams. They face Carolina, who allows the 5th most rush attempts per game, 29.5, while New Orleans on the season runs the 9th most attempts per game, 28.4. And they also play at the fastest neutral pace in the NFL, which I think Carolina's going to be able to keep them somewhat in check today. Say the Saints run it 27 times, right? I have a pretty hard time believing that Jamal Williams doesn't see at least a 30% rush attempt share. At 30%, that would translate to 8.1 attempts, and I feel like I'm even being a bit conservative there. The Saints wide receivers are Chris Olave, who's playing through illness, and A.T. Perry. That is it. So I expect a very run-heavy approach here. Carolina's dysfunctional offense has had a hard time staying on the field as is, and on top of that, New Orleans leads the league in turnovers created at home. Bryce Young, not the best at keeping that football safe. So I think that there's a lot of value here. I also saw that the Saints rush attempts as a team total for this game is at 28.5. So I just think that at 6.5, at 5.5, nevertheless 6.5, I just think that there's too much value here to pass up. You could also get that 6.5 at minus 105 on BetMGM, which is great value. But if you're getting at minus 115, fine with that as well.
Andy?
Yeah, I don't really love this game at all. If I had to decide, I'd play New Orleans. I like Derek Carr back at home. I think that they'll be able to get something done against Carolina. I talked last week. I said Carolina, after you fire a coach, usually you win that game. They were apparently immune to that. They looked fine.
They covered.
Competitive.
They got 3.5.
They did cover, but I'd probably lean New Orleans at home here.
I like what Devin James said. He doesn't bet NFC South games.
Wow.
He said, fuck the Panthers, fuck the Saints. I agree.
All right.
So I'm just gonna say I'm on the Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Or I can say it.
Go ahead.
I'm on the Panthers. I'll take the Panthers. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Saints are fucking dog shit at home.
Oh, I know.
0-5 ATS this season, and since 2021, they're 5-15 ATS. They are the worst team in the NFL at home. I'll take the points with the Panthers.
Agreed. I'm on the Panthers as well. They came through for me last week. There's just no world where I'm laying. Well, I got this at 6.5 late last night, so I'm a little more comfortable on the 6.5 than I would be on 5.5. But I'd still bet it. With all the injuries to the Saints offense, the Saints team that just doesn't cover the number at home. This is still a Saints defense that's missing Marshawn Lattimore and Marcus May, 2 main pieces of their secondary. But it's really not just the injuries. Saints defense just isn't what it used to be. They got one of the worst pass rushers in the NFL. Cameron Jordan. Wait, is Cameron Jordan playing? Because he was questionable also. He's playing. Okay. So Cameron Jordan's going to play. But still, even with him on the field, the Saints have one of the worst pass rushers in the NFL. 28th in pressure rate, 30th in adjusted sack rate. Saints don't blitz a lot, 29th in blitz rate, which is good because Bryce Young has really struggled against the blitz. This is actually, you would think, on the road in New Orleans, wow, this is a tough spot for Bryce Young, rookie quarterback on the road against Dennis Allen's defense. I actually like the spot for him. I think it's a good spot for him to have a good game, even though, yeah, he hasn't been the best against man coverage this year, but the Saints defense doesn't scare me. And Panthers defensively have been strong against the pass. The last quarterback, ready for this? The last quarterback to have a passer rating above 100 against Carolina was Tua back on October 15th. And who they played in between there? Dak Prescott, CJ Stroud, Baker Mayfield. I mean, it's not like they haven't played anybody. Carolina's playing good defense against the pass. All those guys that are injured are back. Actually, I think this is the first time all year. I think this game is the first time all year their secondary is completely healthy, because last week they got J.C. Horn and Jeremy Chin back, but Von Bell was out. Now Von Bell is back, so they have J.C. Horn, Jeremy Chin, and Von Bell all healthy in the secondary, and this Carolina Panthers defense is playing great against the pass. Do I trust the Panthers' run defense? No, but the Saints' rushing attack doesn't scare me that much. Kamara's a lot better in space than he is between the tackles. Yeah, I'm really comfortable in my Panthers plus 6.5 position. I would still take it at 5.5 for sure. I would take it all the way down to 4. I would probably still take it anything 3 or above if I'm being honest. I like the Panthers. I'm on Carolina. Go ahead, Toast.
I was just going to say that Dennis Allen in the division, for people that like trends and stuff like that, is one of the worst coaches in NFL history against the division. I think he's like 2-15 or what it is. I just lost my spot, but here it is. Hold on 1 second. I got to find this now because now I just lost it, of course. But yeah, just know that Dennis Allen in the division is worst in the history of the NFL. Hold on. This is a really good one. 5-14-2 ATS. That's dead last out of 147 coaches in the last 20 years in the NFL. Dead last.
Yeah, you just cannot bet on this guy. All right, so our poll's pretty split on this one, but the Saints slightly win. The Saints, who are, 0-5 against the spread at home? 0-5, right?
Derek Carr and this guy are a match made in fate heaven. They are so ass together.
43% take the Saints, 41% took the Panthers. So Saints win the poll. Next. Vikings at Raiders. All right, let's get Proppy up. Proppy was a big Dobbs guy. He loves Dobbs.
No, I don't at all.
Is this line 3?
Yeah, it's at 3 and 40.5.
All right. What's your move here?
I don't really like this game at all whatsoever.
But bro, your boy's playing quarterback, Dobbs.
Shocker. Yeah, Dobby stinks, but the problem is that the Vikings rush defense is pretty goddamn good, and if Aiden O'Connell doesn't have Josh Jacobs to lean on to open up things in the pass game, I don't really know how good I feel about it. On top of that, he's horrendous against the blitz. But on the other side, Josh Dobbs is so overvalued here. I mean, they're saying this game on a neutral site would be 6 points. Get the hell out of town.
Hell no.
So honest, I'll take the Raiders just because Antonio Pierce got them boys fired up. They're 4-1 against the spread since he took over, or 3-1. I'm not exactly sure, but Dobbs is just not a guy I'm looking to back. The Dobbs experience seems to rear its ugly head after like 3 or 4 games at each of his destinations. So I think it's time to just fade him.
The Dobbs experience, he said.
Yeah, he said exactly what I was going to say. The Dobbs experience has gone the exact same way each time. He had a good couple games in Arizona, then it faded, got traded, had a good couple games in Minnesota, faded actually faded quicker this time, and I'm not backing him on the road. I'm not backing him at all. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm not, and this is Aiden O'Connell I'm backing, not even 100% comfortable, but that's how bad Dobbs is. 4 interceptions against the Bears. Like, yeah, there's no way I'm backing him.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, and they kind of hit the nail on the head on the fade Dobbs train. I'm on the Raiders as well. I think the fact that he's laying a full 3 on the road is criminal, but there's still people betting it. Look, Couple positive angles if you're betting the Vikings, though. Well, one main positive angle. Dobbs has actually been pretty good throwing the ball against zone coverage, and the Raiders run a lot of zone. Also, Marcus Peters isn't there anymore. They cut him. Not that he was having a particularly good season, but Dobbs, like if you look at his splits in zone man, Dobbs has actually been pretty efficient throwing the ball against zone. So there's something to hang your hat on if you are betting the Vikings here, but you could also, here's the thing, you can also apply that same thing to the other side of the ball because the Vikings run a ton of zone coverage themselves, and O'Connell's been a bit better against zone also. So that same logic goes both ways. Raiders have won, ready for this? Raiders have won 4 of their last 5 at home. 4-1 in their last 5 home games, the Raiders. Their only loss comes to Mahomes and the Chiefs. The run defense has shown up for the Raiders. Just 3.8 yards per carry allowed in their last 3. 6th best in the NFL. Raiders run defense showing up. What? Who are these Raiders under Antonio Pierce? And then you add on the injuries on the Vikings defense, and neither of these guys mentioned. I think these are huge. Not only Davenport's still out. He's been out for a while. But Hicks is still out. Lowry's still out on the defensive line. Wait, let me just make sure, because Lowry was questionable, I believe. Let me just double check that. Nope, Lowry's out. Jordan Hicks out. Marcus Davenport out. So, yeah, all 3 of those guys are out. All missing from the front 7. So, yeah, the Vikings' run defense is solid, but I don't know if I trust it quite as much without all 3 of those guys. Now Davenport doesn't really move the needle, but Jordan Hicks and Lowry are relatively new. Jordan Hicks just got hurt 2 games ago. So, I mean, I don't know if the Vikings have a great run defense take. I don't know if it still applies right now. I feel like the jury's still out on that. So I think the Raiders will be able to run the ball a little bit. And look, it's just we're catching a full 3 points with the home team in a game that should be a coin flip. So give me the Raiders, yeah. Toast?
A lot of people mentioning that Justin Jefferson's back. They were horrendous with Justin Jefferson to start the season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it's that. That didn't move the needle for me at all with Dobbs throwing the ball. It doesn't move the needle for me at all.
Yeah, with Jefferson back, though, I will be taking TJ Hawkinson under 5.5 receptions. His target share goes down like 15% when Jefferson's on the field. It's kind of been juiced up now, but I would still play Aiden O'Connell over 1.5 or over 0.5 interceptions. He should throw the ball 30 times. Brian Flores has had a week to prepare. Minnesota blitzes, I think, at the highest rate in the NFL, so he might throw a duck or 2 out there. I think that he throws a pick today.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Jefferson doesn't move the line even a half point for me with Jobs throwing him the ball. He's a crazy athlete, and against like with Cousins back there, or a guy that could really showcase his talent. I mean, a star wide receiver is only as good as the guy throwing it to him, unfortunately. So yeah, it doesn't move the needle for me. All right, so our poll is leaning Raiders. Raiders +3. Vikings -3. 50% of our viewers are taking the Raiders at +3. 39% taking the Vikings at -3. So Raiders wins. Yeah, he said, JN kills zone coverages. I thought he was talking about Jefferson. Next. All right. We got Seahawks at 49ers. So is Geno Smith definitely not playing, right?
It's not definite. He's a true game time decision. I mean, dude, just sit his ass out, bro. Like, you don't want Chase Young and Randy Gregory and friggin' Nick Bosa coming at this guy right now.
I don't even know.
Heal and come back the next week. Your team's cooked. It's ass. You're falling apart. Accept it.
This is a hard pass for me. I have zero interest in this game. People were saying they didn't care about the Saints-Panthers game. This is my game. I have zero interest in this pass. I don't even want to put a graphic up.
It's now at 14. I'm in the same boat. I truly couldn't care less. I mean, the 49ers should beat the shit out of this team. So I'm not going to like 14.
Do either of you guys have anything you want to say about this game, or can we skip it?
You can skip it. I would lean over just because the 49ers offense has been on fire with Samuel and Trent Williams back. 33.5 points a game, but I don't really trust the Seahawks to do much either, so it's just really hard for me to get there.
The 49ers team total's at 30.5. I mean, Jesus.
That's probably a better option then.
Yeah.
Andy, do you have anything for this game you want to skip?
No, all right, cool. It's gonna be an ugly one.
Yeah, it's stupid. All right, so the poll, 49ers dominated the poll. We'll include it in the community teaser at the end. but
That's a given.
yeah, you already know that's going to be in there.
Yeah.
So go ahead and bet the Seahawks now, boys.
All right. So we got Broncos at Chargers. Is this line's up to 3 now?
Yeah. And money's all over the Broncos too.
I know. Is it a total 44?
Totals at 45.
45, no. Prop Beaver, what are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong boat with my pick here, but I'm still gonna say it. I like Herbert under 260.5 passing yards. Yeah, we lost our Stroud under last week back in this Denver defense, but we were yards away from glory despite a blown coverage play resulting in 50-plus yards. I think that with the Broncos playoff hopes on the line, I think we're going to see a better effort here, and I think it really all comes down to Denver taking away Keenan Allen, with Surtain shadowing him, and forcing Herbert's other guys to beat them because let's just make it quite frank. I mean, Eckler looks like he lost a step. He looks horrendous. He's like running the ball for like 13 miles per hour, which is like I'm pretty sure Kyle could run for 13 miles per hour. Everett has butterfingers. Quentin Johnston is horrendous. Jalen Guyton's mediocre. I mean, who the hell is he supposed to throw the ball to? This is a team that has trouble staying on the field, while Denver's reliance on his run game has helped it stay on the field. Herbert's 8-4 to the under this season, averaging 253 yards per game and 4-2 at home. The last 6 of 8 QBs to face Denver have gone under their yards prop, averaging 216 yards per game. I think this is the best chance for LA to get its putrid run game going because the Broncos rush D, that's the constant all year. This team cannot stop the run. I heard reports that it's going to be riding the hot hand with Eckler, Kelly, and Spiller. Wowza, that's a hell of a trio. So I think the Eckler's going to be playing very motivated today. So I think he'll get going on the ground. And honestly, I just think 260.5 is too high. I simply can't process him throwing for 260 plus yards on this defense with them taking away Keenan Allen. The other guys are just not good enough.
Incorrect analysis. And I'll tell you why. The move here.
You don't even know ball. You don't even know ball.
Okay. Watch my bet hit.
All you know is COVID.
The move here is the Chargers, and I got it at 2.5. Bolt up. All right, I have a lot to say about this one, so I'm going to try to summarize it. The Broncos are 5-1 in their last 6. Let's give them some credit. But the truth is, 4 of those 5 wins have been at home in the Denver elevation. This team has not shown us we can trust them on the road. Their 2 road wins this year were a nail-biter against the Bears in Chicago earlier in the season, where they were down 3 touchdowns. They were down 28-7 in that game, came back and won. So that was one of their road wins. Their other road win, the Buffalo Bills gifted them 4 turnovers, and they still needed a life-saving 30-yard pass interference call for the game-winning field goal. So they still should have lost, despite the Bills gifting them 4 turnovers. This Broncos team cannot be trusted on the road. Not to mention, Chargers defense putting up some good performances recently. Look, they shut out the Patriots in New England, whatever. Like, that's more funny than it is a data point. But then before that, they held the Baltimore Ravens to just 20 points. It's a solid defensive performance. Chargers are now 4th in the NFL in adjusted sack rate. The pass rush is starting to work. Well, it actually has been working for a while now. Chargers pass rush has been there even without Joey Bosa. And the thing with the Chargers is they're vulnerable to the deep ball, right? That's been the story with the Chargers under Staley for the last 3 years. Russell Wilson hasn't been throwing the ball downfield, not like the old Russell Wilson. He hasn't been throwing the ball downfield like that. In fact, Russell Wilson threw for 223 yards against the Bears back on October 1st. So on October 1st, Russell Wilson threw for 223 yards against the Bears. In the 8 games since then, Russell Wilson has thrown for 200 yards once. Just once. I think this Chargers front 7 gives the Denver run game problems, which, by the way, the Denver run game hasn't looked nearly as good recently. And I think the only answer is for Russell Wilson to go downfield, something he clearly either he's not comfortable doing anymore or Sean Payton isn't comfortable doing with him. I don't know, but they haven't been doing it. They haven't been going downfield. So I like the matchup for the Chargers defense. And then finally, tell me this isn't the ultimate buy low spot on Justin Herbert. Check this out. Look, he's had a rough stretch. Everyone's selling their Justin Herbert stock right now. But look at his last 5 games. Can you bear with me for a second? Look at Justin Herbert's last 5 games. At New England in the cold rain. It's a tough defense in the cold rain. Baltimore, the best pass defense in the...
score a point.
What?
He didn't score a point.
No, I'm talking about Justin Herbert.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so look at Justin Herbert's last 5 games here. At New England, in the cold rain. Baltimore, the best pass defense in the NFL. At Green Bay, in cold-ass Lambeau. Home versus Detroit. And at Jets, where we know is probably the toughest place to go throw a ball. Out of those 5 matchups, there's only one that's a good matchup for a quarterback. Home against the Chargers. He went ballistic in that game. 323 yards and 4 touchdowns. The other 4 games, every quarterback in the NFL is struggling in that spot. Maybe not every quarterback in the NFL is struggling on the road in Lambeau, but there's a lot of quarterbacks that are struggling in the cold-ass Lambeau. So I think this is an ultimate buy low spot for Justin Herbert. Everyone's bailed on this guy. A home game, finally in good weather. I think Eckler's also going to finally make a play or two. Chargers is the move here in a reminder game. Justin Herbert reminding us that he's still a top 10 quarterback. Give me the Bolts. Sorry for rambling.
Yeah, you done speaking Japanese?
I didn't mean to interrupt you, so I apologize about that.
It's fine. Andrew,
I'm on the Colts. I'm on
Toast next. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, you guys already know what I do. I look for the Chargers to be elite. I have a lead at halftime, and then I fade the shit out of them. I actually bet the Chargers today as well. Same reasons. For one thing, I haven't seen anybody really on the Chargers. It's all about Denver and how good they've been since week 5, and their defense is 5th in EPA per play since week 5, and yada yada yada. But like Sauce said, a lot of that's been at home. I don't really trust them.
It's all been at home.
It seems like everybody in the world has Denver plus the points today. I'm going to swallow it. It's going to suck, but I'm taking the Chargers as well. Just please don't kill me in the second half, Justin Herbert, or I'm going to die.
It doesn't matter. They're going to be up 30 points by that time.
I hope so.
Herbert's
They're
going
going to
off.
need to be.
Herbert's going off. Andrew?
Yeah, make it all Chargers because I'm more on the side of I don't think Denver's quite as good as everybody thinks that. Like, they are all expecting a bounce back after a road loss to Houston where it was a close game, but I thought Russell Wilson looked really bad, and they had a good shot to win that game, and he just looked awful in the last couple of drives of that game. He reverted back to what he was last year. Like, he did not want to throw the ball deep when they needed to. And they're going to need to in this game. Like, it's at the point where I think he's just incapable of it. I don't even think Sean Payton doesn't want to. I just think he can't do it. So, yeah, I'm going to be against Denver a lot right now. So, yeah, Chargers.
I'm down to bet Denver still at home in that elevation for sure. Our poll, Denver wins pretty handedly. 50% of our viewers said they're taking the 3 with Denver. 37% said they're laying the 3 with the Chargers. Next. 2 more games.
Are you ever going to learn about the Staley guy and what he does?
Yeah, we'll see. Staley's a great...
It takes a lot for me to make that bet, Beaver. It took a lot for me this morning to push that
Staley's a hell of a coach. Staley's a hell of a coach.
In the women's lingerie league.
Yeah, if you want to lose games, he's the guy to hire.
What's the weather like in Arrowhead here, Toast?
Weather in Arrowhead, 44, partly cloudy. So good, clear. Nothing to worry about.
-1 even, prop Beaver?
It's
I see 2s
it's
now.
all over the place. I see 2s, I see a 2.5, I see a 1.5.
Oh, so it's up to... Okay, so it moved. I got Chiefs at -1. Total 48.5?
Some at 40. It's actually more at 49.
49. All right. Poll is running. Prop Beaver. Allen or Mahomes? Or neither. You're going with Chris Jones under...
Yeah, Chris Jones under 3.5 tackles plus assist, -195. No, I went with my boy Jerick McKinnon here. I like the spot for him. So what I did was his line was at 19.5 receiving yards. It's at like -120 on most books. What I did was I just SGP'd 2+ receptions and the 20+ receiving yards because there's very heavy correlation, and I got that for +100. So basically, I like McKinnon to go over his receiving yards today. Because no Pacheco on the field, which means we should definitely see a decent spike in snaps for McKinnon here. Just saw a report that him and CEH are actually going to split carries. So I'm expecting 30+ snaps for him today, which is massive because his hit rate with those snaps is incredible. Finds himself in a dream matchup through the air here against Buffalo. The Bills allow the 4th most yards per game fourth most yards per reception, fourth most targets per game, and fourth most receptions per game to the running back position, a whopping 46.6 receiving yards per game. And a running back has cashed a receiving total against the Bills in all but 2 of their 12 games this season. And books had McKinnon's reception total at 2.5, juiced heavy to the over. It's now at 3.5. With 3+ receptions against Buffalo this season, opposing running backs are 10-3 to the over, averaging 35.4 yards per game. And 2 of those misses came when Milano was still on the field. He's obviously one of the best linebackers in the league, a ball hawk. So the hit rate without him has been incredible with him off the field. McKinnon at home with 2+ receptions going back to 2021 has cashed his last 13 to 18 games, averaging 31.1 receiving yards. With 3+ receptions at home since 2021, he's cashed his last 11 of 12 games, averaging 38.7 yards per game, with his lone miss coming by the hook. With the pressure that Buffalo brings, I think that Mahomes is going to have to look for a safety net early and often. They're going to prioritize shutting down Travis Kelce, and the rest of his weapons are pitiful. So that's what I like in this ball game.
Yeah, I'm actually, my pick changed completely because last week I picked the Chiefs to cover against Green Bay, and it was a lot because of the running game. I expected them to be able to run on Green Bay, which they did. 6.1 yards per carry for Isaiah Pacheco, best game of the season by far. They still lost. Now he's not playing. I don't think they'll have much of a running game against a bad run defense. So I really don't think they're going to even win this game. Mahomes lately hasn't looked great, even against a bad secondary. Now he faces Buffalo, who I think has a much better secondary than obviously Green Bay. Now in this one, I think Buffalo wins the game outright. So obviously +1 there.
I'll give you the +1.5. This one sucks because I'm going against the numbers, and on paper, Bills are probably the play. But I'm taking the Chiefs. Look, I understand the angle of the urgency for Buffalo. I mean, what are they sitting at 6-6, and a loss here really puts their playoff hopes in a bind. Like, they are in a situation if they lose. I get that for sure, but shit isn't sweet in Kansas City. I mean, they've lost 2 of their last 3 of their last 5. They are not in a first-round bye anymore. Shit is not sweet in Kansas City. So the act like the urgency is only on the side of Buffalo just isn't realistic. I think this Chiefs team is urgent for a win also, especially a big one against a team like Buffalo. Look, at home in Arrowhead, less than a field goal. Mahomes' cover rate is insane. I don't have it in front of me. But you just bet Mahomes in that spot because if the Chiefs, if you just stuck to this formula, betting Patrick Mahomes over the course of his career, you would be up a fortune. When the Chiefs are favored by more than 3 points, fade them. When the Chiefs are either favored by less than 3 points or underdogs, bet them. If you stuck to that formula, you would be up a literal fortune. So Mahomes
at home. You want the numbers? I have them.
Oh yeah! Oh hell yeah! Let's bring Toast up to the forefront here. Go ahead.
Patrick Mahomes as a 3-point favorite or more, or 3-point dog. -3 or better. 27-1 ATS. -3.5 or higher. 36-41-1 ATS. So you want him between 0 and 3 in the numbers at home. You are going to make a boatload of money.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm betting here, and it sucks because I like the way Buffalo's been playing, and if I stuck to the numbers right and just followed what the recent patterns, what should happen here, Buffalo is probably the move as the dog because the Chiefs have really struggled and the Chiefs don't look like themselves. And then Josh Allen against man coverage with Diggs should eat, but Mahomes just wins these games. He wins them. So I'm riding with the Chiefs on this short number here. Looks like the poll's pretty split on this one. Go ahead.
I was just going to say a couple things we didn't talk about. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes, 5-0. Only one game was played in Buffalo, too, so that kind of means something. But I just want to point this out for all you Bills fans out there. The Bills got their first cover last week since October 1st, right? The Bills are 1-7 ATS their last 8. They're 4-10 ATS their last 14. They are 11-18-1 ATS their last, 20? That's 4th worst in the NFL. So I don't want to hear this, Buffalo and get the points and stuff like that. They are absolutely terrible ATS. Chiefs all day.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Bills have looked. We've seen a little bit of resurgence from Buffalo the last two or three games. So Buffalo looks like they might be back, but still, it's Mahomes at under 3, so got to take it.
One thing that makes me like the Chiefs, and it's really weird. I was looking to bet James Cook's over rushing attempts because last 2 weeks he had 16 and 17 rushing attempts. The offensive coordinator was clearly making an effort to get him more involved in the offense, and that's how you beat the Chiefs. You run the ball on them. Their rush defense has looked horrendous lately, right? That was at 12.5 yesterday in the afternoon when I was thinking about playing it. I then went back later to it. It was at 10.5. Now it's at 11.5. But the fact that it was at 10.5, if they're not running the ball, like if they're not going to run the ball with Cook, how the hell are they going to win?
Well, maybe
this
they're
ball game?
giving it to Murray. Haven't they been giving him the ball?
No, it's really been him and Ty Johnson. And I mean, James Cook, last 2 games, has seen a massive
Why
spike
wouldn't
in
they
touches.
run the ball in this game?
Even at 11.5, right? They have it at 11.5. Cook has hit that in all but 2 games this season, and DraftKings has
So
that
they're not
plus
expecting
100.
the Cook to get carries. Why? What is the
That
possible?
must mean that the Chiefs are going to come out and bust them up early.
That's what they're thinking. Yeah.
Well, you
That
know,
would be the
no,
one.
dude. The last few Bills games, Latavius Murray, 9 carries, 10 carries, 9 carries. Maybe they just think they're going to split it up a little bit.
That'd be shocking.
I don't get it either.
Somebody just
Go ahead.
Somebody just sent me a message that says, "Oh, Toast, don't forget that the Buffalo Bills have the rest advantage." That's sweet. Guess what? Josh Allen, 6-12-1 ATS on extended rest. That's 217th out of 220 quarterbacks in the last 20 years. I don't give a shit how much rest he's had.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
That's sweet.
I'm done.
That's sweet, bro.
Cool, man.
That's
Yeah.
sweet. All right, let's move on to the Sunday Night Football.
Jesus.
That's sweet.
That was good. That was.
I did not know Josh Allen is terrible on extended rest. 217th out of 220 qualified quarterbacks, he said. Damn. Josh Allen, fade him off a bye. Eagles at Cowboys, Sunday Night Football. This is obviously a good one. Is that 3.5 still? Or are there 3s out there? What's the deal with this?
Buffalo Phil. Let me check real quick.
No,
I
Philly,
believe-
Dallas.
Yeah, I'm aware.
You
It's
said
it's
Buffalo.
at
Isn't it
3.5.
Eagles winning, they're in the playoffs, right?
I mean, they're in the playoffs anyway, but
It's 3.5. You could catch 3
I know that. I'm
on
just-
DraftKings and Bet365. Total at 51.5.
Prop Beaver, who wins this? Oh, actually, or what? Let me guess.
I said it. I said it 3 weeks ago when these teams faced off in Philly. I took the Eagles then. I said I'm going to take the Eagles now. It's going to disgust me. But when they play in Dallas, I'm going to put a mega lock on the Dallas Cowboys in this ball game. I think Dallas beats the shit out of this Eagles team. I think the Eagles, in terms of the luck ratings, I mean, Toast knows them. He reads them religiously every day. The Eagles have just been wildly lucky to this point, and I don't really think that their defense can handle an offense like Dallas. I mean, we just saw San Francisco, an offense that's significantly better at home, go into Philly and rob them. They couldn't do a goddamn thing to stop anybody on that 49ers offense. And while Dallas doesn't have, I guess, the array of playmakers that they have in terms of San Francisco, I mean, Tony Pollard's catching a groove right now. CeeDee Lamb looks physically unstoppable. Brandon Cook's been rolling out of the slot a bit more lately. He's looking good there. I'm just not seeing it. I think that Dallas's offense runs up a check here, even in a primetime game where unders have been a cash cow lately. And I think the Dallas Cowboys defense last week, they got a bit caught off guard. They were looking ahead to this game. Deron Bland had his worst game of the season, a blemish on what has been an otherwise fantastic season for him. So I think they're going to come out hungry, and I think they're able to shut shit down. My bet for this game, I took Dak Prescott over 2.5 passing touchdowns. I got that at plus 165. Just too many numbers making sense here for me to pass on it, even with the primetime under trend. It's a heated MVP race. He's facing the Eagles. I think that he should have beaten a week 9. He's got all the field in the world, and he's at home where he's cashed 4 straight games with 3+ touchdowns, averaging 3.8 touchdowns per game. He has 3+ touchdowns his last 5 or 6 overall. His only road game this season where he had 3 touchdowns. Guess who that was against? The Philadelphia Eagles. Imagine what he could do at home. Dak has now cashed his number in 4 straight against Philly overall, and his last 3 or 4 against Philly at home. Philly allows the second most pass TDs per game this season and the 5th fewest rush TDs per game. The last 4 or 5 QBs versus Philly have cashed or passed TD over, with 3 of them hitting 3+, including Brock Purdy and Sam Howell. I think that even if this game does go under, the total is at 51.5. So still plenty of room for Dak to throw his touchdowns. I'm all over the Dallas Cowboys today.
Dude in the comments said, "Hey, Proppy."
Yeah.
Dude in the comments said, "Hey, Proppy, when you're done, make sure you zip up Dak's pants."
Hey, if I got it, I'll do whatever for a winning Sunday at this point.
All right, Andrew, are you with him on Dallas?
100%. I think Dallas is going to blow the doors off this game. I don't think Philly. I'm with him. I don't think Philly's as good as everybody has them out as. Like, they got exposed last week. They were ramsacked in their own building. The only news coming out of that game for Philly was one of their coaches or whatever being fired or being banned from the sideline. Nothing good came out of last week, and now they have to go on the road to a division rival. I don't see how they keep it close in this game. So,
Toast, is it 3 on Dallas?
Yeah, and I know that you're on the Eagles. I can tell by the way you're looking at the camera and your voice tone. But anyway, Dallas for me, they're my favorite team, so it's a little bit of a homer bet. But I actually bet this -1 like 5 days ago or whenever the line dropped, because Dallas at home has been a problem. 11-3 ATS their last 14. So I'm just going to continue to bet Dallas at home until they give me a reason otherwise. And another little trend for you guys: fade good teams in December when it gets great, when they have 70+% win percentage. So teams that are always winning, and they're winning. I mean, the Eagles are 70% or whatever it is, plus they're winning by 10 points a game. It's really, really bad. 58, 83, and 4 ATS. So it's just fade good teams towards the end of the year. It's a homer pick for me, though. I'm all over Dallas.
All right, so this one's a little similar to the Bills-Chiefs in a sense where the numbers do point to a comfortable Cowboys win. Dak Prescott has been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this year at home. Maybe the best. Dak Prescott at home is basically Jared Goff at home last year. Best quarterback in the NFL. He's been unstoppable at home. He also crushes man coverage. Eagles run a lot of man coverage. Cowboys defense at home, probably the best defense in the NFL. It's the Cowboys at home. You can make the argument that the Cowboys should have won at Philly. I get all those points for the Cowboys, and I'm still betting the Eagles because we've seen this movie before. This is when Dallas loses. I wouldn't even be surprised if we're watching this game and Dallas is clearly the better team for 90% of it. They'll find a way to lose it because this is the game Dallas loses. This is how it goes down for the Cowboys. If you believe in the NFL is scripted, this is how the script rolls for Dallas. When their hype hits an ultimate peak, they find a way to blow the big game, and this is the big game. You got the Eagles, one of the best teams in the NFL. Sure, they haven't been perfect this year, catching 3.5 points, coming off the ugliest loss in recent team history. They're going to bounce back strong, and I think they win. It sucks, and I hope I lose this bet. I hope to God I lose this bet by 30 points. I will laugh losing $200-$300 on this. Like, I would love to see the Cowboys beat the shit out of them, but I got to think of my brain here. And look, this number's at 3.5, and the public's still on Dallas, which is just crazy. You would think at 3.5, everyone would be coming in on the Eagles. They're not. How is Eagles plus 3.5? How is the NFC champions plus 3.5? A sharp move. It shouldn't be. It should not be. This is people drinking the Cowboys Kool-Aid a little too much. They'll find a way to lose this game, and I think this will happen as well. Defensive or special teams touchdown from the Eagles at plus 600. I think they return a kick. So, yeah, I'm on the birds.
You've been sipping too much fucking Robitussin.
One thing I didn't say either is that
I'm on Dayquil.
I don't love the I don't really like the spot for Philly. If you look at their last 4 games, it's been tough sledding. Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, and now Dallas again. Those are some pretty strong teams. So, and then also, by the way, when the line moves 2 points for Dak, he's 21-10 ATS. So,
bro,
that's such a strange trend. How the fuck do you have access to that?
Prop Beaver's getting roasted in the comments right now.
I just have access to what I have, bro. Don't worry about what I got.
I don't really care about what these fangools are saying.
Prop Beaver's getting roasted in the comments for Dak Prescott. Like, someone goes to
half of them are talking about my lack of facial hair. Like, are you here for picks or are you here to glaze? Like, I don't understand.
Someone said, did Prop Beaver just say he'd literally suck off Dak Prescott?
For winning Sunday, yes, I would. It's getting to that point. It's getting bad out here.
All right, let's run the community
Beaver, I'm
teaser.
right there with you, bro.
Let's run the community teaser. Excuse me. All right. So,
I sent you my Underdog.
oh, did you? All right, let's go. I'll get it up.
I'm going to a concert later. I need good vibes headed in, or else I'm going to be
What
fucking.
concert?
I'm going to the Travis Scott show in Philly. And
Oh.
if it's a losing Sunday, I'm going to take it out on the fucking mosh pit.
Who won? Bucks or Falcons? Who won that first poll? I don't
There's a
remember.
mosh pit at Travis Scott.
Yo, Bucks or Falcons? Who won?
Bucks.
Bucks plus 4.5. Lions Bears was Bears plus 9.
Correct.
Jags Browns won that. Browns
Cleveland.
3.5. And Colts Bengals
Colts.
plus 9. All right, first leg of the community teaser is up. Oh man, I feel like death. Yo, I like Proppy was not even like a Dak Prescott guy. It's just funny how
I was talking so much
I
shame
know,
on
that's
him
so
last
funny.
year.
I know, that's the funniest part.
I'm just a man who respects greatness, and the dude's balling out right now.
make sure you zip up Dak's pants when you're done. He said.
That's a good line.
Oh. All right, so the first leg is close. I'm going to give it 5 more seconds. Looks like Bucks or Colts it's going to be. Wait, Bucks? It was Bucks? That's supposed to be Bucks plus 8.5, not 4.5. I'm bugging. So, yeah, Bucks looks like Bucks won, and I'll make it. It's Bucks plus 8.5. Damn. Community teaser. Bucks plus 8.5. All right, let's get the next one squared up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So who won? Rams or Ravens did. So Ravens minus 1.5. Panthers, Saints won. I remember that. So we'll just say Saints money line. Vikings, Raiders. Raiders won, I think. Yeah. Raiders plus 9.
Yes.
A lot of underdogs won the polls today. 49ers definitely won. I know that.
Yep.
All right, second leg. Let's go with the... All right, second leg's going to be Ravens minus 1.5. So Bucks plus 8.5. Ravens minus 1.5. I don't think either of those... I could see the Ravens losing it, actually. Because, you know, someone's going to screw it up.
Yeah.
Broncos or Chargers? Broncos won that, so it's Broncos plus 9. Bills, Chiefs. Oh, shit. Who won that? That's kind of recent.
That's like the one I didn't
Oh,
write down. I have
Chiefs
everything
won.
else.
Chiefs
Yeah.
won. Chiefs plus 4. Cowboys definitely won. So Cowboys plus 2.5. Titans. Oh, no, duh. That's the last one. All right, so let's vote for the third leg. And then we'll do a second place finishers, which are Colts, 49ers so far. Looks like Chiefs plus 4. Wait, here come the Broncos. Here come the Broncos. I'm going to give it 5 more seconds. Dude, I like this dude, Roman C. He goes, this was a great show, minus a 5-minute private session for Dak Prescott.
That's a good one.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and it looks like it's going to be Chiefs. Yes, Chiefs +4 makes it. And let's do our second place finishers to see who the last leg is, and it's Colts +9, 49ers -8, Broncos +9. So Colts +9, 49ers -8, and then Broncos +9. All right, let's see what this last leg is, and let's go ahead and get these games started. All right, let's see what we got. Damn, people really want that 49ers in there. I mean, I get it. If Drew Lock's playing on the road in San Francisco, I get it. Dude, I don't know if I'm just a sucker. I still believe in the Seahawks defense a little bit, even though they haven't given me much evidence to do so. I feel like they just have a lot of good pieces on that defense, and I feel like eventually they're going to be good, but I realize that the evidence...
Bobby Wagner.
Well, the Seahawks defense was solid last year, and then they added Wagner. They drafted Witherspoon. They, added 2 good players to an already good defense. How is it not good? I don't understand that. And it's 49ers -8 is the last one. So what are the odds on these, Toast?
It's like +260 or whatever.
Let's just put +260. All right, community teaser. Well, let me take the... I don't know why it says...
Maybe 240 on some books.
I'll put 240 to be safe. All right, the community teaser for today. Tampa Bay +8.5. Baltimore -1.5. Kansas City +4. San Francisco -8. Everyone, thanks. Someone asked. Yes, it's still raining outside my window. It's supposed to be nasty at MetLife. I don't think that's supposed to change. So everyone, thanks for watching as always. You guys are great. We'll be back. This week is weird. Not only am I still sick, so I can't have these guys in the office tomorrow, but also I'm moving on Thursday and Friday. So this week's crazy, but the live shows are not in jeopardy, and the website and the app and the Discord all still be running as normal. But as far as the video uploads, they might be a little slow. I might be skipping a couple of them because I have a lot going on. But everyone, let's have a good day. Make some money. Remember to bet responsibly, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, good.